Good morning. Welcome to the Pecos Police Department Memorial Dedication today, and I want to thank every one of you for taking time off your busy day for this occasion. Although it's a solemn occasion, it's a great occasion when community can come together and honor the people who serve this community in a law enforcement profession. And I thank you again for being here. I want to take just a brief minute and jump off the schedule of events to acknowledge some people here just real quickly. And this is the command staff of the police department. I use them kind of as a barometer when I come up with a crazy idea and run it by them, and they say, "Oh, that's a great idea, Chief," or they say, "You know, Chief, we need to cut that one. That's a terrible idea." It doesn't happen a lot, but sometimes it does happen. And we came up with an idea of doing a memorial for the police officers and for law enforcement in general in Reeves County. So we came up with an idea of doing a memorial, and that was about 11 months ago when we started this project, not knowing what was ahead of us in making this thing happen. We had the vision, we had the goals, we came up with the plans to make it happen, and in the interim we had to figure out where are we going to put it, what's it going to look like, who's going to build it, what's going to be there. All these things came into play for us, and we had to deal with it. We didn't realize what we got into, but now you're looking at the finished project, and it's so great, so fantastic to be able to walk up here and look at this after all the hard work. So back on these people, I want to acknowledge them. I know you're out here, I'm not sure where you're at, but Jail Administrator Tony Dowdy, he is not here today. He's out on some medical issues. Jail Captain Betty Herrera, if you'll stand up please, where are you at? Okay, there she is in the back. Patrol Captain Kelly Davis, or CID Captain, I'm sorry. Patrol Captain Juan Vasquez, where are you at? Thank you very much. CID Lieutenant Adrian Marcus, right there in the back, and Executive Assistant Anna Contreras. These are the people that took the idea, took the vision, and made this happen. Let's give them an applause. I'm now going to turn it over to Captain Davis, and he's going to post the colors for us.
Officers, attention!
We could have Mr. James Henderson please come up and say a prayer for us, please.
I'm honored to be a part of this occasion today, and I ask you if you would to bow with me in prayer. Father, we boldly come before the throne of grace in our time of need. We honor those that have given of their lives to protect and serve their communities, their state. And Lord, we give them honor today, and also would like to pray for the officers that are still out serving and protecting their communities. Lord, that you would put a protection of shield around them, and let them know. And what I like most of all is that when one is in distress or need help, they all come to the rescue. And Lord, I like that. And I like the theme that they have. No greater love is one that will lay down his life for his brother. And Lord, they laid down their lives for their brothers. And we honor them today and respect all that they've done. And we also put our arms around the families that also are suffering because of the sacrifice they made to honor and protect their communities, their state, and everything else. We give you praise, honor, and glory in Christ's name. Amen. Praise God.
Officers, raise their arms.
If we could have Miss Mitchell, please, for our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Officers, fire, arms. Officers, parade left.
I have Mayor Seals here. I'm going to ask her, please be seated. Please be seated. Thank you. Mayor Seals here to say a few words for us. I present the Mayor of Pecos, Mayor Vanessa Seals.
Good morning, and thank you, Chief McKinney, for asking me to speak here today. I am truly honored to be a part of this special event. This nation has erected many monuments to generals and admirals, privates and seamen who defended our nation's freedom against tyranny and oppression. We gather here today to dedicate this memorial to uniformed heroes of another sort, those who enforce the law and keep us secure here at home. For too long, America's lawmen and women have been the forgotten heroes. Forgotten until there's trouble, until we are stranded on the road or frantically calling 911 at home. Vivian Inney, a past president of the organization called Concerns for Police Survivors, was quoted in 1991 at the dedication of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial as saying, "Now the real healing can start. When the grave doesn't look new anymore, when the grass has grown over it, this will be the place to come to see the names, to touch the names. Today in Pecos, Texas, we remember our local heroes. Visitors will come here. Some will be children, perhaps looking for a father or mother they never really knew. Who are these people, they will ask. They were policemen and policewomen who gave their lives in the line of duty. And they were young and old. They had wives and husbands, mothers and fathers, and young children. Most of all, they had love. Love for their profession, love for their community, love for their families. Love that can still be felt in this special place right here today. They devoted themselves to the timeless values that society shares. They valued the law. They valued peace. The peace of a civilized community that protects children at play, families at home, and storekeepers at work. They valued human life so much that they were prepared to give their lives to protect it. They gave much and asked little. They deserve our remembrance here in Pecos, Texas, and in every community. For as long as these walls stand, they will be remembered, not for the way they died, but for how they lived. They didn't ask for honors, though honor them we will. But we can honor them in a more profound way, a more lasting way, by strengthening the laws that they swore to uphold. There is a war going on out there, a war between criminals and a good society. We know that war will not end as long as evil dwells in men's souls. But we can work to lock up those who are too violent to live in a civilized society. And we can support the law enforcement officers who are on the front lines saving us every single day of our lives. And we can put new laws on the books to keep new names off of memorials. President Coolidge long ago told us, "The nation which forgets its defenders will itself be forgotten." We will not forget those who protect and serve every single day of the year. When society asks someone to put on a badge and place it over his or her heart, we make a sacred covenant, a covenant that says, we as a society stand behind those who enforce the law against those who break the law. We say, we back the blue. This memorial gives meaning to that covenant, gives meaning to these lives, gives meaning to the law and for what it stands for. Few professions, other than a military commander, first responder commander, fire chief, police chief, or sheriff, purposely and intentionally send their co-workers into harm's way, many times knowing that the outcome will result in the loss of life of that co-worker, or to consciously and intentionally give the order to take a life, to command the use of deadly force. An awesome responsibility indeed. This time of reflection should serve as a reminder to all of us that when the unthinkable happens, it can be a profound effect, not only on the officers themselves, but the officers' co-workers, as well as their families and friends forever. We still search daily for answers. It is a perilous time for our first responders and officers, including detention staff, and also for our military personnel at home and abroad as we wage the war on terrorism and crime. Across our nation, officers lose their lives. For what? A carton of cigarettes, a couple pints of whiskey, so someone can break and enter into someone's home or workplace for a computer or TV because someone was drunk or high on drugs? Officers across the nation are stabbed, shot in the arm, the leg, the face, and yes, the back. It has always been a dangerous world, then and now. It may be true that there's not much difference in how an incident goes down today than any incident in the past, but hopefully we are smarter than we used to be. Now, we are better at what we do. We have had a lot of it practice. Our equipment is better, our training and technology is better, our vehicles and weapons are better. And for the Pecos PD, we have Captain Kelly Davis to get whatever else we might need. Any of our law enforcement officers may, indeed, be called upon to make the ultimate sacrifice in the performance of their duty. But they know that already. They do not need to be reminded of that. They understand what is expected. The families of our fallen and you, the town of Pecos City and Reeves County, remember that being a law enforcement officer or first responder is indeed, as it is with our ministers, a calling. Remember that they cannot help themselves. They must continue in the service of our community because it really is a calling. Our own Chief McKinney's family is an example of that calling, for several members through several generations having that calling. A nation reveals itself not only by the men and women that it produces, but also by the men and women it honors, the men and women it remembers. The words of that speech is from President John F. Kennedy when he made a speech at Amherst College in 1963. The words of that speech should continue to stir our thoughts and give us pause to reflect, because those words continue to be as true today as they were then. Please understand that the names on this monument never wanted the spotlight and always put the welfare of others, especially their brothers and sisters, above themselves. Our freedoms and safety is a precious gift bestowed on all of us at an enormous cost. The law must continue to be upheld as a tribute to the fallen. We must not stop doing what we are doing. We must remember our fallen by the way we conduct ourselves, professionally and personally. The monuments, the statues, the flags and pins are only material items. They serve to focus our memories, but the real honor is how we carry on. Yes, we are all affected when one of our brothers or sisters are killed. However, it shall not dissuade us from the way we conduct ourselves. It won't affect the way that we focus on our mission. We shall honor those that have fallen by the service that we continue to give. We must concentrate on the good things. I know that our fallen would have wanted it that way. We miss them, and we shall always remember them. Maybe it will be by the voice on the radio that will spark the memory, or maybe a more mischievous time when maybe a patrol car was covered with sticky notes, or when a stuffed deer head retrieved from a dumpster was left on a supervisor's desk. Yes, law enforcement officers can be pranksters as well. Yes, we will miss them, and we shall always remember them. Our fallen heroes are always with us, in our hearts and in our memories. There is always that person that will ask, why do you want to be a cop? So you can drive fast and write a bunch of tickets? Do you think you are some sort of hero? Law enforcement officers never ask to be heroes. It sometimes just turns out that way. Finally, let me read you a few clips from a commentary by the late commentator Paul Harvey. What are law enforcement officers made of? A law enforcement officer is a composite of what all men are a mingling of: a saint, a sinner, dust, and deity. What this really means is that they are exceptional, unusual, and not commonplace. So, what is a law enforcement officer made of? Of all men and women, they are the most needed, and at times, the most unwanted. They are strangely a nameless creature who is sir to their face and fuzz to their back. They must be such a diplomat that they can settle differences between individuals so that each will think they won. They must make an instant decision, which would require months for a lawyer to make. But if they hurry, they are considered careless. If they are deliberate, they are considered lazy. They must be first to an accident and infallible with their actions. The law enforcement officer must know every gun, draw on the gun, and hit where it doesn't hurt. They must be able to whip two men twice their size and half their age without damaging their uniform and without being brutal or expect to be sued. A law enforcement officer must know everything and not tell. A law enforcement officer must, from a single strand of hair, be able to describe the crime, the weapon, the criminal, and where the criminal is hiding. But if they catch the criminal, they are just lucky. If they don't know how to do their job. The law enforcement officer must be a minister, a social worker, a diplomat, a tough guy or gal, and a gentleman or lady. And of course, they would have to be a genius, for they will have to feed a family and send their kids to college on a law enforcement officer's salary. So, as we gather here today, let us remember there is no greater call in life than when a man or woman lays down his or her life in the service of others. We also honor our hometown heroes who have passed away quietly and humbly, but possess the same zeal and love for their own calling while serving as law enforcement officers. With this memorial, we preserve and honor these officers' memories who have sacrificed their lives in the line of duty. And we honor the sacrifices of the families who have given our city such heroes. We also honor all other officers of the department on duty yesterday, today, and tomorrow for their service in protecting the citizens of Pecos, Texas. Once again, thank you very much for the honor to speak here today and to share this moment with you. And may God bless the law enforcement officers of our great country, and God bless Pecos, Texas. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you for those words and for attending the occasion today. As I mentioned earlier, we had the vision to do the project. We got the contractors for the cement, the electrician for the lights, the bricklayers, the painters. But we had to come up with the idea of how in the world are we going to pay for all this? And an idea came about as, well, we'll reach out to the community. Well, we didn't have to do that. The community reached out to us, and through a number of businesses and people here in Pecos made this happen. And because of their partnership and willingness and cooperation in this project, we raised approximately $45,000 for this memorial. And we're going to take just a short minute or two to acknowledge these people, and because we thought it was so important to do that, because without them this wouldn't have been possible. We came from the get-go that we wanted to do it, but we did not want to use any taxpayer dollar, although the taxpayers would probably be more than willing and giving to do this. So these are the donors, and I know some of them are out here, some of them maybe not, but we're going to acknowledge every one of them. On our bronze sponsors, we have the Citizens Police Academy alumni. If you're here, I know we have some of them here. Great group of people that's been with us, and they're partners with us, and they were one of the first ones that jumped up with a check and said, we're behind this 100%, and we appreciate what you do. So let's give them a hand. Our next sponsor, this gentleman came very quickly to the cause. It's Mr. Freddie Pierce with Pierce Trust. I think I saw him out there. Could you stand, please, Mr. Pierce? Thank you very much. Our next sponsors was the Avery Ranch, great supporters of law enforcement, and we have Judge Harrison over here representing that ranch. We'll give him a hand, please. Our last bronze sponsor is Salcedo Oilfield Service. I don't know if anyone is here. No. This company called me on the phone, and they're from Fort Lupton, Colorado, and they said they were searching the internet and said, "Hey, Chief, we're seeing you're putting together a memorial over there, and we would like to be a part of Pecos and help you with this." And out of their generosity, they sent us a check, and seem like great people, and we welcome to Pecos, so let's give them applause. Our next line of sponsorship is the silver sponsors. XTO Energy. Is anyone as a representative here from XTO Energy? No? great group of guys that reached out to us and said we want to be a part of this, and we want to give them a round of applause. Our last silver sponsor is Badger Oilfield Services. I don't know if Mr. Moon is here. He was one of the first ones that called and said, Chief, I got a check for you. Wanted to help you sponsor the event, so let's give him an applause. Our next group of sponsors is our gold sponsors. One of the first ones that reached out to us was Colgate Energy. Do we have a representative from them here? No? Great community business to be in partnership with. They've done a whole lot for Pecos, and we're glad they're here. If you would help me thank them. The next company is a company that reached out to us very early through their security and corporate law enforcement division, and happy to be partners with them, and that's Apache Corporation. I think we have some representatives here. If you would please stand. Thank you very much. Our next sponsor is Cimarex Energy. I don't know if we have a representative here from them. Okay, let's give them a applause, please. Next sponsorship in the gold sponsor is Concho Oil. I knew one of their corporate security guys. He reached out and said, hey, you guys need some help financially with this project, and I said, yes, we do, and got me in touch with their accountant, and we got a check from these guys, so let's thank Concho Energy. Our last gold sponsor is a new sponsor that came on board just recently, just several weeks ago. Reached out to us, had lunch with them, introduced ourselves, a really great group of people. I knew a couple of these guys, and just a great bunch of people to be around with, and that is PDC Permanent Incorporated. I think we have them right in the back row. If you would stand, please. Thank you very much. And our last sponsor is our platinum sponsor. These people reached out to Captain Davis, said we want to be a part of this, and sent us a check for $10,000. We want to acknowledge and send a great gratitude to Energy Transfer. And I think we may have a representative here. Yes, thank you very much. One of the things we came up with, and one of the ideas was maybe have a sculptor and an artist design something for us so we could put here as a centerpiece for this memorial. And I'm going to let Captain Davis come to the podium and finish this presentation.
We'd like to acknowledge the artist who designed and made this sculpture for us. I can't say enough good things about him. His name is David Davis. Please stand. Very talented person.
David, can I get you and Captain up here? And this was from an idea that we had, and we sent it to David, and he sent us some rough sketches back, and this is his finished project. And give him a hand. We're now going to move into the ceremony where we honor the people that we're here for today. And our first officer that we would like to acknowledge is City Marshal Thomas Moorhead. City Marshal Moorhead served the department in Pecos for 3 years. City Marshal Moorhead was killed in the line of duty by gunfire on February 8, 1914. As we honor these officers and call their names, we're going to take down the covering from their plaque, and then also we're going to have some family members come up here and assist us with this. Our next officer to be honored today in this memorial is Deputy City Marshal Tobe DeRacy. Deputy City Marshal Tobe DeRacy served the department for 5 years. Deputy City Marshal DeRacy was killed in the line of duty by being stabbed on March the 10th, 1945. Our next officer that we're honoring in the memorial today is Patrol Officer Harold Snellenberger. Officer Snellenberger served the department for 3 years. Officer Snellenberger died in the line of duty from a heart attack from a resultant call for service on March 23rd, 1984. We have 2 more officers to acknowledge and honor today, and I will ask Sheriff Granado to approach the podium and present these.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The next fallen officer was a Reeves County Trans-Pecos Drug Task Force agent. His name is Jamie Rodriguez. Agent Rodriguez served the Drug Task Force for 3 years. Agent Rodriguez was killed in the line of duty by gunfire on May the 16th, 2002. Our next fallen officer, Deputy Sheriff Jacob Rayos. Deputy Rayos served with the Reeves County Sheriff's Office for 13 years. Deputy Rayos was killed in the line of duty in an automobile accident on April 11, 2010.
We now proceed with the color guard, please. Mayor, did you have another item?
It's always a pleasure for me to be able to do proclamations, and this is really a special one. In honor of National Police Week, May 13th through the 19th, 2018. Whereas in 1962, President John F. Kennedy signed a proclamation designating May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day and the week in which it falls as Police Week. And whereas members of the Pecos Police Department play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the citizens of Pecos. And whereas it is important that all citizens understand the challenges, duties, and responsibilities of their police department, and that members of our police department recognize their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting them against violence and disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression or intimidation. And whereas the Police Department of Pecos has grown to be a modern and scientific law enforcement agency which increasingly provides a vital public service. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the Town of Pecos City formally recognizes the Pecos Police Department for their faithful and loyal devotion to their responsibilities and their dedication to the community. Accordingly, City Council hereby declares May 13th through May 19th, 2018 as National Police Week and May 15th, 2018 as Peace Officers Memorial Day. Further, the City Council of the Town of Pecos City wishes to honor all police officers who, through their courageous deeds, have lost their lives or have become disabled in the performance of duty. In recognition of this official memorial dedication, I, Vanetta Seals, Mayor of the Town of Pecos City, do hereby sign this proclamation on May 17th, 2018.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, please be seated. Again, I want to give so many thanks to the people who made this happen, and some people I do need to acknowledge out in the audience is City Manager Seth Sorensen over here to my right. Thank you so much. Of course, Mayor Vanetta Seals, who's joined us today and spoke, and we thank you so much. I think we do have a few city councilmen out there. Councilman Mateus, thank you so much. To have an organization serve, you need all kinds of support, and that's physical support, financial support, and verbal support, and we always get it from these group of people and many more to make this happen. Again, I want to thank all the sheriffs and chiefs out there. I probably haven't had a chance to say hello yet. Thank you so much. As we wind this up and end this dedication ceremony, thank you again so much for attending today and helping us pay tribute as we assign these officers a permanent shift of eternity. This memorial doesn't belong to the police department. It belongs to the community and the citizens here. As we remember, we honor, and we reflect. Thank you so much. There's refreshments over here. The guys did a great job putting all this together for y'all. Please help yourselves, and please help yourself come up here to the memorial and look it over. We're so proud of it. Thank you again so much.